Hi, my name's Tim Beard, and this is my story. I grew up in Indianapolis, and from the time that I can remember, I've always loved music and always loved playing music. And so when I grew up in Indiana, I went to church with my parents. They made me go with them every week, and then about the time I got to be a teenager, they gave me the option to go or not to go. So of course I opted out of the whole thing. And I continued playing music. I started playing in different rock and roll bands. And as a result of that, became exposed to a lot of people who were doing drugs, and I joined right in that lifestyle. So for the next 6 or 7 years of my life, it was really all about doing things that made me feel good. I was playing music because it made me feel good. I was doing the drugs and having the sex because it made me feel good. And as a result of the things that I was doing, I was actually drawing other people into the same kind of habits, and I saw many of my friends be arrested. I saw one of my friends actually died as a result of drugs during that time period. I pursued that lifestyle all the way through my junior high and high school years, went off to college, continued the same thing. But around that time I started wondering if there was maybe something else to life than just whatever was going to make me feel good at the time, and just started searching for things. And around that time I met a young girl at college who was just something, there was something different about her than anyone else that I had ever met before. And so I asked her out on a date, and she went out with me, and at that date I said, "What is it about you? Why are you so different?" And she said, "Well, I'm a follower of Jesus." And I said, "You know, I want to hear more about that." And so I went with her that weekend to a gathering of people who follow Jesus. And I sat in a room where no one tried to convince me of anything, but I just heard the stories about how God loved me so much that He gave His Son to die for me. I knew deep within my heart that this was true. Something inside of me was telling me that this was true and I needed to follow it. So I made a decision there that I was going to follow Jesus. I remember the very next day after I had decided that I wanted to be a Jesus follower, I remember walking from my apartment to my class at college, and it was like everything was new. I remember noticing for the first time how blue the sky was, and I just felt this lightness about me, that this load had been taken off of my shoulders. Everything was completely new. And from that point on, I had a desire to please God and to follow God rather than just to do things that made myself feel good. Now, a little more than 30-some years later, I've been following Him consistently. That girl that I met who was different, we've been married for 28 years, and we have 2 kids. And I'm able to take the music and my desire and love for all that kind of stuff and actually employ that to serve God each week in our church at Fellowship Bible Church. And the reason I'm telling you my story is because I want everyone to know the story about Jesus, because my life is totally different than what it used to be. Now I wake up in the morning and I have a purpose for my life. My purpose is to grow closer to God, to glorify Him, and to tell others about Him. And I have great joy. I still have trials, still have things that go on in my life, but I just can't imagine my life without God.